what is it a new aspirant should not do while preparing for this exam?
I started reading my newspaper only for interviews.
Interesting way of doing your current affairs.
So in fact, this is the only way that you can prepare current affairs of the past. Let's say I'm starting this year preparation.
So how did you manage that answer writing part? Namaskar. Hi, welcome to one more episode of Toppers Talk. And I have a very interesting guest with me. And this topper happens to be Vivek Singh. His rank is 256th. Why interesting is because he's an engineer and he's fond of biking. This is the first time I'm seeing a biker coming to service. Very interesting, right? Biker. And he's not one of those leisure bikers. Biker. You know, jisko biker mein maza aata hai. He has already done a trip from, say, Gangtok to Jalpaiguri to Gangtok. He's done a couple of these biking trips. Interesting, right? So we'll talk to Vivek. And Vivek, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Toppers Talk, Vivek.
Thank you, sir.
How are you feeling? Kaisa lag raha hai? Has the feeling sunken?
So I'm getting used to it. Like
You're getting used to it?
Still getting sunken. Like I'm still a little bit shocked.
Still in a state of shock?
Yeah, I think so. I don't I haven't been like that much elated. I'm feeling very normal.
Feeling
right
normal?
Now. Feeling
Okay.
very normal, but I don't think it has that well sunk in.
Okay. I'm sure your family must be very elated.
Yes, so that is the best reward I've ever seen.
All right.
Everyone has been really happy.
All right. Acha, just walk me through the journey. What motivated you to come to civil services? Just walk me through the whole process. How?
So actually, my intention to become an officer came from my uncle when I was 6. In fact, he's the one who introduced me to bikes. When I was 16-year-old, he's Lieutenant Colonel in Indian Army.
All right.
So I went to visit him, and that was the first time I saw an officer in person.
All right.
So this is where I wanted to become officer. Then I wanted to become an Air Force officer. I was recommended twice, NDA 137 and AFCAT. But since I could not become a pilot, so I decided to leave Air Force, and from there I continued my journey to become an officer through civil services.
So basically, officer banna tha.
Yes, sir.
Air Force nahi to civil service sahi.
Yes, sir.
That was okay. And I could see that because this was your 5th attempt. You qualified the 5th attempt, right?
Yes, sir.
So that means you were driven कि मुझे officer बनना ही बनना है.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And 5 attempts.
Yes, sir.
Almost, that's a long period. I really admire your patience.
Yes, sir.
In these 5 attempts in 5-6 saal mein, there must be high moments and there must be low moments. Sometimes the preparation becomes very lonely. So how do you keep yourself motivated? Because this is something which everybody would like to know also. Because I'm sure there will be a lot of listeners who will be taking their 4th attempt or who will be taking the 5th attempt. So driving oneself, keeping oneself motivated, getting over uncertainties and self-doubts, how did you manage that?
So actually, first let's high and lows. High was when I qualified for the interview. I was very elated. But the low was...
This was 2021?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this for the listeners, 2021 also you qualified for the interview?
Yes, sir. And in 2022, I couldn't even qualify mains.
That must have been a very low point.
Yeah, that was devastating because in essay I scored only 67 marks, even though I did well in other subjects. But because of 67 marks, I couldn't
essay
qualify.
was 67 in 2022?
Yes, sir.
Or 2021?
2022.
2022, okay.
So that was the lowest point. I actually wanted to leave the preparation. There was a very low point.
Okay.
This is where I would say my relatives came in a big help because for a moment I thought, let's quit it for a while. Let's join corporate. Let's earn some money. Then we will again come back. But it was my uncle and aunts and cousins. They continued to push that you're capable of it. Maybe luck wasn't on your side this time, but you'll get through. So this is what I did. And how to manage loneliness and low. See, the journey is so long and it is so unpredictable that there are going to be very low moments.
Yes, true.
And the preparation is also a very lonely process. So this is exactly what I did in this attempt. Before, what I was doing is that I was giving all my hours to library and just exam, pre-mains interview. This is what I was doing. But this time I got really tired. I thought, okay, like I need to balance my life, because if you see after that mains, I had around 94-95 kg weight at that time.
All right.
I was very out of shape. I was mentally not healthy. I didn't had any social relationship, but I hadn't talked to my friends.
So basically, isolation did not help.
Yes, sir. So this is what I did. Actually, when I didn't qualify mains, for some time I just traveled. I just went from one relative to one friend to another, one relative to another. I again picked up, because I left my hobbies when I started to prepare for civil services. So I bought a new guitar. Again,
Oh yes, I should tell listeners, he also plays the guitar. I wish I had a guitar. I would have made him play also today. Played a couple of strings. Okay, that's a good
so I
thing.
bought a new guitar, and then I again took a membership of gym. I started working out 2 times a day.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
you are
so
in perfect shape.
Yes,
Quite.
I started to work out 2 times a day. Increased my duration of sleep. Earlier I was sleeping 5 or 30 minutes. Now I'm sleeping, even just before mains, I was sleeping 7 hours, 7 or 30
Okay,
minutes.
now this is something you should, I want everybody to listen very carefully. Sleep. Now, Vivek emphasized on at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Usually there's a myth people have that I have to sacrifice my sleep.
Yes, sir.
Which is not right?
Yes, sir.
You need to have your sleep, at
Yes,
least 7
sir.
to 8 hours of sleep. It's important, right?
See, civil services preparation is marathon. It's not a sprint. You cannot think that, oh, I will go without sleep for some days and then I'll clear it. You can do 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. By that 4th month, it will start to take a physical toll. One by one, the mental ability will reduce, the efficiency will reduce, the focus will reduce. You will start to go in the direction of stress and anxiety and depression.
Yes,
so
very
the
true.
Rest,
mental health suffers.
Mental health suffers a lot. So one has to understand that it is a marathon. And if you want to run for a longer time, you have to take ample of rest.
Recovery is very important. I'll use a gym term.
Yes, recovery.
I'm sure being a gym person, recovery is important. Hota hi hota hai hamare
both
liye,
nutrition and recovery is very important. Both in gym, both in civil service
also. So basically, it's like running a marathon.
Yes, sir.
You practice, you rest, you recover, practice.
Yes, sir.
That's the advice you have.
Yes, sir. And don't try to run too fast, because this is the mistake I did. Because
actually, this is something which I want everybody to focus on. He says don't run too fast. It's a marathon, because he says it's a mistake he made by running too fast.
Yes, sir.
You're a biker. You should understand that.
Yes, sir.
Because when you bike, you travel at a leisurely speed.
Yes,
That's
sir.
how you reach destinations, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I mean, this is a little interesting. Running fast and you burnt out.
Yes, I got burnt out. What I did, because I was preparing through self-study, so the pace of study was in my hand. Because when you prepare through coaching, you have to go to classes, they will teach a certain amount, then you go to next day. So what I did, I just picked up a book and I ran through it. Like I finished my first time I finished my optional in 45 to 50 days.
Okay, all right.
So this is what I think, in retrospect, that was a big mistake.
Okay.
I should have, at that time I thought I'll just finish in 6 days, I'll give exam, I'll qualify and everything will be rosy. Big mistake.
All right.
So had I given ample of time in my foundation, it would not have taken 5 attempts.
Okay.
So this is the mistake I did.
Achha, this is for everybody watching this. Vivek here prepared on his own, absolutely by self-study. So I have a question for you. Self-study means it's a lonely journey, seriously lonely, because you're not going to coaching. So you have to learn to motivate yourself. You have to drive yourself. So what was your mantra? I mean, how did you manage that? Because it's a long haul, and I could see that you took 5 attempts. So it's a long haul. So how did you manage that? What's the mantra? I'm sure that will be something which will be helpful to all the listeners.
See, sir, this is something about motivation, is that it comes and goes. It is an energy, but the discipline stays. So I don't rely on motivation as such.
Okay.
Thing is, if I have to do something, I have to do something. If I have to get up 5:30, that means I have to get up 5:30. It doesn't mean how much tired I am, if I'm motivated or not. The discipline is that if I have to get something done, then it means it needs to be done. It doesn't matter whether I'm motivated or not, whether I'm tired or not.
Okay.
So focus on discipline more than motivation, because motivation will go away. In the starting, everyone will be motivated. I'll become IAS. 3-4 months. It goes away. In every field, not only in civil service. Even if you learn any new skill, you can
gym mein bhi hota hai?
Yes, sir, exactly. This is what in fitness too, people get motivated. They come to gym 10-15 days and then
first day of the new year.
Yes, every day, and then by the end of the January, everyone is disciplined.
Yes.
This is exactly what happens in every skill. Pick any new skills, you'll be very motivated in the beginning. Things will start to get difficult, motivation will go down, and people will leave. This is where the consistency parts come in. That no matter how it is going, just keep going, it will get better. but keep going. If you have that I will study this much today, then study that much.
All right. So Vivek, it's more about discipline, not motivation. It's about consistency and discipline.
Yes,
that's the mantra.
Yes,
if you are studying at home, if you feel lonely, please remember it's all about discipline and self-pacing yourself. And remember, rest is also very important. Now, something very interesting I have to ask you. You're an engineer.
Yes, sir.
What tempted you to take sociology as an option?
So again, this is an important issue for me.
Because optional is like, I'm sure there was some thought process, right?
Yes, sir. So this is another mistake that I would not like anyone else to make.
Okay, please listen to this. Now Vivek says this, he made a mistake. What mistake? Let's hear it from Vivek.
See, when I started to prepare, because it was self-preparation, I had no one guiding me because no one in my family is civil servant. So what I did is sociology was easy to understand. And it was COVID time, so I didn't had access to any books. Sociology was easy to understand, that every book was available online. So I just downloaded everything and started reading it myself, and I finished it too quickly. So I didn't do any research on at that time, because at that time I was thinking, oh, I'll just finish the syllabus and I'll get selected. This is, I was only 21 year old.
Okay.
So I was young and stupid. So this is the mistake that I made. And even in this year, I only scored 256 marks in optional.
Okay.
Had I scored even 275, 285, I would have easily gotten top rank.
Top rank, yes.
So this is, I think this is another mistake that I don't want people to make. That while choosing your optional, be very patient and do a lot of research.
Okay. So basically, selection of optional is very, very critical according to Vivek, because he made the mistake. Because according to him, he feels like he made the mistake of taking a wrong optional, because the marks have been consistent little on a lower side. So what your advice is, do research, spend time understanding the subject.
Yes, sir.
Then you zero in on the options.
Yes, sir. And even if you're taking a subject, and if at any point of time you think that my knowledge is incomplete, there's a vacuum in my knowledge, don't hesitate to take expert help. Spend money, because if you can spend money, do spend money on expert help, because it will pay back. So this, again, I didn't took any coaching. Since I finished out on my own, I always felt, even though
you advise coaching?
If you need, do it.
Okay.
If it needs to be done, then it needs to be done.
Okay, that's a very valid point. If you need it, do it.
Do it. Again, there is...
Provide the resources are there.
Provided the resources are there, and don't lie to yourself. If you think at any point there is a gap in knowledge, there is some vacuum, take help.
Okay.
Even if it costs money, it will pay back in years, because UPSC preparation is such that in the long term, time will matter more than money. So if you have resource, take help, I would say.
Good. Okay, now I'm coming to something very interesting. Now, answer writing part. You paced yourself. So how did you do the answer writing part? Because there's a couple of narratives here. कुछ लोग बोलते हैं कि answer writing हमको day one से शुरू कर देना चाहिए. Some people believe that answer writing should be started after, say, you cover a certain portion of syllabus, फिर आप शुरू करो. कुछ लोग बोलते हैं कि you finish the syllabus topic first, then you come down to answer writing. So what was your strategy here? And I'll be a little curious to know why, because you've been studying alone. So how did you manage that answer writing part?
So again, I learned in the process. Like since I didn't had any help, I learned in the process. So when I wrote, I'm going to be very honest, I wrote my first answer after clearing prelims. So in the...
okay, so this is very interesting. He wrote his first answer after clearing prelims.
And in that attempt, I also cleared mains.
Okay.
So if you have not written anything, it's not the end of the world. You can still make it. But if you have time, if you are in the preparation stage, I would say start writing one answer daily. And before this...
What should be the... I mean, after finishing a certain topic, you should start writing, or after finishing the syllabus, you should start writing?
So first give few months, 4-5 months, when the knowledge starts to take a certain form in your head. When you read certain toppers' answers, and you the structure gets clear in your head, that this is introduction, this is part, this is conclusion. So this is where you should start writing one or two answers, so that bit by bit that structure gets stuck in your head, that it gets completely absorbed. Now, if you have time...
So basically, you're trying to advise everybody that don't rush into writing answers. Be patient, read, get a clarity, get some understanding of the theme, subject. Then you slowly start writing it.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
And it's not necessary that one has to write every day, right? According to you, we can start after prelims also, as you said.
Yes,
you start after writing answers after prelims, and you qualified mains that year also.
Yes, sir. So I would not advise it. I'm just saying that it can also be done.
No,
it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not end of the world.
Because
yes, true.
I see today, like I was talking to other aspirants, and they were like, I am writing answers for 2 years, and I have to get attempt in next year. This is, I'm saying, if you have time, prepare for the best. If you start writing, if you have written ample of answers, it's good. If you have written test series before prelims, it's good. But if you are someone who has not done it, it's not the end of the world. You can still cover it, given you have some clarity of idea how it needs to be done. And in the starting of answer writing, just write 1 or 2 answers. Give enough time. Take 15 minutes, even if you take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just take that time. See, the growth is always progressive. If you, I have seen,
true. Yes, this is one of those gym ideas you're giving.
Yes,
progressive.
Yes, so I have seen people saying, put timer in the beginning, and I want to write answer in 9 minutes.
Oh, that is impossible.
So don't do that. Make progressive. First goal should be my answer should have structure.
Yes.
When that starts to happen, now my answer needs content enrichment. Now I need to give data. Now I need to give examples. When that starts to happen, now I need to write my answers in time.
Okay. Since you use the word content enrichment,
yes,
Vivek, so I have a question for you. How did you enrich your content? See, the problem is everybody reads the same sources. Same for polity, history, geography, environment, same sources. What is it differently that you'll advise people to do in terms of enriching the content? कहाँ से करें? What should be the source? कहाँ से, कैसे, करना भी चाहिए या नहीं करना चाहिए? So what would be your advice?
First of all, बिल्कुल करना चाहिए, क्योंकि वही होगा जो आपको आंसर्स बाकी से अलग करेगा.
हाँ.
और मैं कहूँगा कि हर सब्जेक्ट का कंटेंट एनरिचमेंट का तरीका अलग है. Like if I'm writing ethics answer, then I'll give a lot of example from civil servants who have done really well, sports person, this kind of thing. But I'm writing economy answer, then I'll give a lot of facts. If I'm writing polity answers, then I'll give case studies, articles. So
okay.
The strategy to enrich answers are different for different subjects.
Okay, now that's a very valid point Vivek is making. Strategy for enriching content for every subject varies. Like for polity, he says it's about using articles or case studies.
Yes, sir.
Judgments. For judgments.
Yes, sir.
Like for ethics, he says it's more about civil servants' works, examples, yes, quotations, yes, right? Sir. And that's a very interesting.
And for GS1, it is mapping.
Okay.
It is creating map. So and examples, and that's also there. But it is in GS1 you can draw a lot of maps, so that you can do. So enriching part is very important. Now everyone reads the same resource. It's good. But what I did this time, in fact, what I did.
What was it you did differently this time?
So this time I used Google a lot.
Okay.
What I did
Google,
rather than
nice.
using just coaching material.
ChatGPT or Google?
So ChatGPT I started in interview process.
Okay.
But for that whenever I read a subject, read a topic. Let's say I'm reading about governor issue. So what I did is I'll just Google what are the recent controversies regarding governor issue.
Okay.
So I picked up 5-6 from there. So I have now few specific examples regarding governor issue, and I just written on the side of my notes. So whenever I was studying, there was always my iPad in my vicinity, and whenever I read a subject, I just Google it. So what are the recent issues? What are the recent example and recent issues regarding the subject?
So that brings me to a question. You are studying, iPad आपके साथ में है. Don't you think पढ़ते अचानक you get to Google? Distraction नहीं होता? Because some people find very distracting. आप लिख रहे हो, लिखते suddenly यहाँ पे भी आ गए.
Sir, if you're using your electronic gadgets, right, it is just another book.
Okay, that's a nice way to. That's a different way to look at it. You treated iPad as a book itself.
It is a dynamic book. It can extract that data from anywhere in the world.
All right.
Just use.
How about social media then?
Just don't install that app on like I didn't had any app on my iPad.
All
so
right.
there is no and people who are preparing for civil servants are also adults. They're not kids. So you should have that much self-discipline that if I'm studying in this much time.
Because बहुत लोगों के साथ इशू होता है, जैसे ही गूगल पे होता है, it becomes a rabbit hole. चलो गवर्नर का ये देखा, चलो साथ में चीफ मिनिस्टर भी देख लेते, साथ में ये भी देख लेते. So it becomes a big rabbit hole. Then ultimately what happens, you get distracted.
So in fact, I didn't even had a keyboard. I just used the voice recognition system. If I'm reading, I'll just apply, hey Siri, can you search this for me? And I read that and I just wrote it. So it is more about self-discipline, sir. The people who are preparing it are
But I really
adults.
like the word that you said. My iPad was my extended book.
Yes, it is.
That's a nice way to look at it. But people never look at iPad as a book. They look at it as a gadget. But you saw it as a tool.
See, it is
as an added book.
That's
a nice
it's
way
a
to look at it.
dynamic book. It can extract data from anywhere. It can, in fact, start speaking if you are looking at somewhere else. Even the Chat GPT is a very good option nowadays.
Okay.
So that
would you recommend Chat GPT and Google?
So I would highly recommend it.
Okay.
It is very efficient. It can do like 1 day of work in 1 hour.
Okay.
Even if in Google the information is evidence, so you have to go through everything and see what is important to you, and then you have to concise it and structure it in a form of answers. But Chat GPT can do that in 1 second.
It structures and give it to you.
Yes, sir. Okay. And in fact, the answer given by Chat GPT is exactly in the form that UPSC demands. Introduction, point, example, and conclusion. This is exactly how Chat GPT gives answers. So it's an amazing tool.
Okay, nice. Okay, that brings me to one more question, because we were talking about content enrichment. Newspapers, what's your take? How much time?
So this
is it very critical, because students spend a lot of time reading newspapers?
So this is going to be a little bit controversial.
No, I have been listening to this in the morning, since morning. Few myths have been broken by now. Huh?
I started reading my newspaper only for interviews. I did not read
newspaper
at all.
Vivek has a point here. Vivek says he started reading newspapers only for the interview. Hello? That's something very shocking.
Yes, sir. Because
in fact, you broke a big myth that newspapers are basically overrated.
I would say that depends on the person to person. This since I told you, right, whenever I'm reading a subject, why do you read? Why do we read newspaper? There are two things. First, for the current affairs, for the content enrichment. Now, I would say every day for current affairs there is 10 news. We feel every time it comes, it feels very overwhelming. Oh, this news is very important, and after 10 days it dies out. And if you see, so this is what happens every time. We research, and it dies out. There is no point in it.
No point, yes.
So, and for content enrichment, I just use Google, right? If I'm reading a governor issue, so rather than picking examples from newspaper, I just Google what is the recent controversy.
So basically, you replaced newspaper with Google. So that means your search became very specific rather than very wide.
Yes, I would say I want to add two things. For current affairs for prelims and for current affair of mains. These are two very different things. So for prelims, issue is important. Like for a prelims, maybe one animal was in news, maybe some place was in news that can come. And every time prelims comes, someone goes through and say, hey, September 18, this place was in news. But every day 10 places in news. In 2 years, 7,000 places are in news. How much are you going to remember? So you have to see what is the cost benefit. Can you really remember it? Like if I give 1 hour 30 minutes to static part rather than giving newspaper, I'm going to score 10 more marks in static part.
Okay.
So this is what I did. So now I had a different strategy to cover
mains current
affairs. So this is what I did. What I did is in market there is a lot of test series available. That for July current affairs, there is one test series. There will be 70 questions from static, 30 current affairs.
All right.
So this is what I did. I just solved 2 years question paper. So my current affairs already got prepared through questions. I prepared it through question.
Achha, this is a very interesting way of preparing current affairs. Through questions. What Vivek did was he didn't read newspapers. What he did at the end, he used to solve questions based on current affairs. So that's a very, I should say, interesting way of doing your current affairs.
So in fact, this is the only way that you can prepare current affairs of the past. Let's say I'm starting this year preparation, but UPSC asks 2 years of current affairs. Now, how am I going to time back? What I can do is I can buy test series of 1 year back, and I can solve 30 questions.
All right.
In the end, I will have 600 current affairs
questions.
If the question comes from there, I'll solve it. If it doesn't come from there, no one else is going to solve it.
Oh,
thing is,
that's a nice way to look at it. Okay.
Your competition is with people. Your competition is not the question paper. If question comes from a very trivial place, then it means no one else is going to solve it.
There's a very interesting point, Vivek, as your competition is not with the paper.
Yes, sir.
The competition with the
people. So you have to understand that even though every question has equal weightage, 2 marks, 2 marks, 2 marks, but that is actually not true. There are some very obscure questions. There is no point of touching them.
Because nobody is going to touch that.
There is no point of touching them. Your selection and rejection will depend on the question that was solved by everyone else.
Okay.
If you fail to solve question which was solved by everyone else, you're out. So focus on that part. Easy, static. Focus on these two parts. There will be 10 questions which are not going to be solved by anyone. Don't touch it.
All right.
So this is
simple mantra.
Yes, simple.
Okay. For mains, what is the mantra?
So for mains, this is what I did is I had like 3-4 friends preparing for civil services. So what I asked everyone, like in GS1 there is history, there is sociology and geography. I asked everyone, just give me 5 current affairs that you remember. That's it.
Okay.
So on every GS paper I had 20 issues that may be important through even after reading newspaper. Like आप साल भर पढ़ते हो, कोई न्यूज़ बड़ी लगती है फिर भूल जाती है, पर कुछ न्यूज़ ऐसी होती है जो आपको याद रह जाती हैं कि ये इस साल में ये हुआ था. तो मैंने उसी का इशू 20 इशू ही हर सब्जेक्ट के बनाए थे. जैसे मान लीजिए कि
so basically your idea is to limit your
जैसे चंद्रयान 3 था तो साइंस एंड टेक में चंद्रयान 3 था तो वो मेजर इशू था, इंडिया का माइलस्टोन था और वो आया ही आया. तो rather than reading 80 current affairs, just narrow it down to 10 to 20 पर सब्जेक्ट और क्वेश्चन वहीं से आते हैं.
ओके.
और कुछ क्वेश्चन है सर मैंने देखा है वो किसी से भी नहीं सॉल्व होंगे, चाहे वो प्रीलिम्स हो या मेंस.
That's a rule of exam. In an exam there will be 1 or 2 questions which nobody can do it.
Which no one can do it and you don't have to even worry about that. Every year, if in fact in coaching industry I see that every year there is some obscure question. Coaching industry sees that they add that topic into the main material. The main material keeps getting thicker and thicker. So, and thing is, UPSC is never going to ask that question again. So there is no point. Just keep that.
Limit yourself to core
60% questions. Just see 60% to 70 questions. Where are they coming from? What are the topics that are getting repeated? Read that much. Every year there will be questions which are not going to be solved by everyone else. Plus, they will not be repeated also.
All right.
So there is no point running behind it.
Nice. That's a very interesting perspective. So one last question. I'll put you in a spot, Vivek.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. Everybody has a to-do list.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. बच्चों से पूछो कि क्या करना चाहिए. I'll put you in a different kind of question. What is it a new aspirant should not do while preparing for this exam?
What new aspirant should not do?
Should not do.
Should not rush in the beginning.
Okay. Should not rush in the beginning. Okay, first. Second?
First thing, should not try to run very fast in the beginning. As I said, rather, don't think I'll only see 5 hours and do it. You'll be burn out in 4 months.
Okay.
So there's no point on that.
I know it's a tough one because to do सब बता देंगे, but to succeed one should know what one should not do also, right?
Yes, sir. But I said don't rush in the beginning. Do a lot of research and don't. That is again progressive.
Not to compromise with sleep.
Yes, sir. Don't compromise with sleep and do progressive. Like increase your workload progressive. Don't think I'll start studying 12 hours a day. You'll be tired per day. 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour. Then step by step. And I would say do not completely isolate yourself. That is also a big problem if you completely isolate
yourself. Now this is a very important point. Don't isolate yourself. You have to have some kind of social support.
Yes, again, it can come from friends, it can come from
family, friends.
Yes,
it's not about isolation.
You need to have 1 or 2 person in your life that even if you get completely frustrated, you can vent out to them.
Okay.
You can talk 15-20 minutes. Even you're not making any sense. you need to have people in your life that you can completely
rely on.
You can vent out, and so that you can feel calm after that.
True.
So don't isolate. Yes, sir. So
Makes sense.
don't isolate yourself in the process.
Okay.
These are the changes that I made in this attempt.
Okay. So this is not to do for the people who are starting the exam for the first time. So don't rush. Take care of your health. It's a process. Be disciplined.
Yes, sir.
That's advice you'll give them.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Vivek.
Thank you very much.
It was nice talking to you. It was a pleasure. In fact, I learned a couple of new things from you.
Yes, sir.
That 20 issues only I should focus on, not on 80 issues. That reminds me of 20-80 principle. Good.
Yes, sir.
Nice. And I really got to know about that Google can be an additional book, a dynamic book. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It was quite interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure to have you.
Thank you, sir.
My blessings,
Thank you,
wishes.
sir.
Thank you.